Welcome back to Where Canaries Walk. Who is this team in yellow playing slick one-touch football? And what are they doing with Norwich? That's the big question we're asking this week. Patience is the key word. Adam says this is why JHT will get patience from the Norwich fans, the same way that the majority did with Farker. There will be tough moments this season, but we can all see what the end game might look like. And we are reviewing what that end game looked like against Watford with Owen and others. Welcome to Where Canaries Walk. This is the quickest, most compact, 20-minute only podcast that exists for Norwich. You don't need an hour, you just need 20 minutes. And these guys, let's talk about HoffBall. Oh, that was some beautiful football, wasn't it? Welcome to Where Canaries Walk. I'm sure you're desperate to get into it. Owen, did you enjoy that very much?
Yeah, it was fantastic, wasn't it? There wasn't an awful lot that we can pinpoint and say was wrong with it, but it all went to plan, and we can really see what Thorup's bringing to the table now.
Let's talk about the clip that's going viral. Oliver, it's the clip of the I think it's the third or fourth goal, I can't remember, but the one that has 20 passes that goes in before it, and all 10 outfield players, we think, get a touch. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
It made me actually almost emotional. It was that beautiful. It was just, I have missed it for such a long time, and seeing that against Watford, who are a pretty high caliber team, it was just, sensational.
What about the all-round performance, Jacob? Because, of course, you went a goal down, didn't you? So you must have thought, even at that point, oh, here we go again. But this Norwich side are made of sterner stuff, aren't
they? I think to have conceded that goal, I think the team has changed it around really well, playing really good football. And as you have mentioned before, we're going to talk about right-backs, I have to say credit to Kellen Fisher. Definitely the best one on the pitch there. Showed a lot, considering he's only 19.
Absolutely, yeah. So welcome back to Where Canaries Walk. If you've not come across the channel yet, welcome. Thank you for watching. This is 20 minutes a week, released every Monday at 6 o'clock on YouTube and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. We know there's lots of other Norwich content out there, but this is the quickest and most comprehensive review of all things Norwich. This week, we are giving our full match review of the Watford game. We are going to grade our right-backs. We're asking how secure is the gaffer, because we're coming up to Sacktober, where most managers start to lose their job. And we're going to put Owen under the spotlight and ask him about where his love for Norwich began as an early child. Now, he didn't know that, but he does. He certainly does now. Let's have a look at some takes on the game then. This is an interesting one. I want to get your view on this one. Nunes is indispensable in this side. We have talked a lot about this player over the last couple of weeks, but indispensable, Oliver?
It's a tough one, because I was actually raving about Nunez last week. He is important to this side. I think he does do a lot that goes actually under the radar, to be honest. But indispensable, it's tough, because our midfield, I would say we have stronger options, obviously. Force and Schwartau was quite impressive, but it's tough. I would say indispensable. I would agree with that, actually, yeah.
Okay. And staying with last week's episode, of course, we gave Sainz a lot of stick last week, and I think rightfully so. How did he do for you, Oliver?
Yeah, I thought he was much better, actually. Much more direct, looked a lot sharper, just much more clinical. And it was great to see.
Okay, just all forgotten then what happened there. What happened to Swansea.
Yeah.
All right then, Jacob. We are fast becoming the Callum Doyle Appreciation Society. We'll come on to that in a minute. But there was a review done about what was said, of course, to the loan players. In order to get them to come to Norwich, and it was said that the presentation that the manager and the recruitment team did was top class. There's a family feel around the club. The training ground was amazing, and Will points out here correctly that it was refreshing to have the right people at the top of the club again. to be somewhere where top players want to come and play. So there was a suggestion here that had it been the old guard, that potentially you might have lost out on some of these loans that have now proving to be very good. Do you see the same? First of all, do you see any truth in that, Jacob?
Yeah, I think to have got these lone players in, it's just really good how Callum Doyle has developed really quickly into the team, having to score his first goal straight away at home in our first home win and under the new manager. And he's definitely going to offer a lot more, I think.
But what about the new kind of structure that you've got and the new lead on recruitment? No, he's not a lead, who came last year, but are fans kind of understanding the importance of their role in getting a player like Callum Doyle to the club?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I think it's the idea of getting loan players in and, I mean, youth players under the age of 21. It's really starting to work.
Okay. What about you, Owen? Do you see the shift in the guard of perhaps that this is the project is being sold and Norwich is a family club and the training ground and the presentations apparently were what sold the club to Callum Doyle?
Yeah, I think what Napper's brought into the role is completely refreshed from what we saw with Stuart Webber. I think he maybe grew complacent after a long stretch in the role. So to have someone new come in, and in the first major transfer window, can't really count Christmas, but in the first major transfer window, even just with the player sales, not so much of bringing in, but to get the amount of money that he did for players like Ida and Kamara, if we can see that constantly throughout his tenure, then it could be a very good sign for the club.
Okay. Oliver, Nick says Callum Doyle is an absolute Rolls Royce for a player. That boy will captain England someday. Is he that good?
I would say he's got the leadership about him. I mean, you look at him for such a young player, he's so experienced. He's a big sort of physical presence, and he is very exciting. You know, there's no doubt about that. And it's just the understanding of how he can play left back, left centre back. He's such a flexible and just reliable player. So we're so lucky to have him.
Okay. One final one is Cernic. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right every week, but that's what we'll go with. And it's a general question to all of you here, and please do debate it between yourselves. Daniel says, I do sympathise with people who want more from Cernic, but for the money spent, but it is clear that he'll need more time. His work rate is there, the touch is there, the physicality is there. He was exceptional in the air today, but he needs to work on his passing and actually getting more involved. And there's a few others that said he doesn't look for the ball. He seems when the game is going on that the game can bypass him at times. All right, then. I'll let you guys take the floor with that one. Who's going to start?
I mean, for me, Cernac, I think it's a confidence thing. There's definitely a player in there. From what I've seen, the glimpses, I think he has a smart footballing brain, but he just needs that confidence just to really sort of hit the ground running. So, you know, I think that will come with time for me.
He sort of reminds me of Schollis from a few years ago, where the raw talent is definitely there. We can see that there's something there. But this time we have a manager that's potentially more, not that Farkle wasn't, but more faithful in the youth to give him more opportunity and more chance to then thrive and grow at Norwich City.
Yeah, I agree, to be fair, because I think Sargent came in when he was 20 as well. Not sure if that's correct or not, but he does need time to develop, Cernac. And he had a chance against Watford as well, but got denied by the Watford goalie. So I think he should give him a season or so and he will become a good player.
Right. Okay.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, we'll leave that one. We'll leave that one there for now. Before we get on to right backs, of course, the news which was going on last week was around Stoke City, and Stoke have grabbed a brand new manager straight from your fair club. Owen, do you wish him well?
Yeah, he seemed like a friendly character in all the training videos, all the post-match stuff that the club had put out. So yeah, I do wish that he does well, apart from when he plays Norwich. But yeah.
Okay. Oliver, were you surprised that a club of Stoke's size came in for him, would you expect him to start a little bit further down the
Um,
pyramid?
I would say so. I would say I was actually quite surprised because obviously he came in with Wagner. Yeah, it's surprising, and look, it didn't go well for them on Friday night. But he's a nice guy. I wish him the best, but I think it will be interesting to see how they do.
Okay, and Jacob, what can you tell the Stoke fans what you know about his
Well,
time with the club?
we don't see much of him on the pitch really, but off the pitch he probably has done a good job with the Norwich City squad. So I do wish him the best. Obviously, not against us, funnily enough, but yeah, I think he should do a good job if he has the right money as well to bring in who he wants.
Okay, all right, right. We have looked at goalkeepers. We've looked at central defenders. We did left backs last week. We're now finishing finally our run through the Norwich City defence. Here's our review of Norwich City right backs. So this won't take long. Oops, I got the wrong button there. There we go. Now, a transfer market puts down that you have 2 on paper. I'm sure you have more players that can do the job there. But Owen, is this a stupid question? But is this a problem area for you?
No, I think before the match just gone, I would have probably said yes because we've seen enough of Fisher, but not this season. We hadn't seen a sufficient amount to say he's able to step up into the role when needed. But I think that solidified the performance at the weekend. He did absolutely fantastically, and he, I think, won man of the match or fans man of the match, something like that.
Okay. Oh, Oliver?
Yeah, I mean, look, I like Jack Stacey. I think Jack Stacey's solid, but honestly, Kellen Fisher for such an age, I think he looks the next level. I think Fisher is the player that will really sort of just boost our defense, boost that attacking outlet from that right back position, and yeah, just looking forward to seeing him start more.
Okay, Jacob?
Yeah, Kellen Fisher does suit our style of play as he's a young player, good getting forward and made some great tackles, denied a lot of the Watford attack. And about Stacey, he is rock solid as well. So yeah, there's a bit of competition between the two, but I think we are in a good place with our right backs.
Okay. Overall, then, if I was to ask you to grade Norwich City's defence out of 10, given all the conversations we've had over the last 6 episodes about each position, Owen, what number are you giving it?
I can't see anything above a 7 really, so I think I do have to go a 7.
Okay. Jacob?
Probably a 7, as I think Hanley and Duffy just aren't the best players we can have at centre back. Although Duffy is solid, but we do need someone a bit like Doyle.
Okay, Oliver?
Yeah, I would say 7, but I think it could definitely push towards that 8, 9 mark. It's consistency for me really. But Cordoba, I thought he's brilliant. I think he's amazing, and yeah.
All right. If you disagree with that, comment below. What grade would you give defensive? We move into the midfield next week. You'll be glad to hear. We'll look at defensive midfielders to start with. Before that, though, a question honestly to you all. So we're hearing a lot of predictions, as you would expect, for who's going to be in the playoffs and who's going up and so on. Norwich's name does not feature in any of the big players' predictions. I wanted to ask you, first of all, did that bother you? And given what you've seen now from the 6 games, do you want to reevaluate where you think Norwich might finish? Because you all were kind of saying, well, mid-table we'd be happy with. It's a project, it's a journey. But are you happy to kind of push your ambitions up towards 7th and 8th? Oliver, we'll start with you on this one.
I would say so. I definitely think we have enough level, like enough talent in the team to definitely push for that. The fact that some top sort of predictors don't put us up there, I'm not particularly surprised about that, considering we've been in the Championship now for 3 years. The level just seems to be getting better and better every year. But look, we easily have the talent to easily push up there. I mean, dare I even say, I think if Western we could push for automatics. Even honestly, I think there is that level. There is that level in this team.
Okay, all right. What about you, Owen?
I joked about it a few weeks ago, saying that we'd be up by Christmas. And I'm not saying that now, don't get me wrong. But if we can find the consistency, which I'd say desperately need, and keep pushing our level up and up, I don't see why we couldn't be up there. And then back onto the other point of not being put up there by predictors, I'm not fussed. It keeps us out of the stage light, I guess.
Jacob?
It's about keeping momentum, really. We have to keep this level of performance we did against Watford and kind of avoid what happened at Swansea and at Oxford. And as one of our speakers here said, the level of the championship is getting better and better year by year. So we do have to match that level as well. And yeah, basically that.
Okay. All right, we're talking about momentum then. I've got some bad news for you now, because your next game is away at a side that haven't lost at home in the last 9 games. In fact, they've won 9 straight in a row. So let's bring in a Derby County fan, shall we, and get their thoughts on what's going to be a right good old game this weekend at Pride Park. Welcome, Darren, to Where Canaries Walk. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Thank you. Yeah, Norwich are on a bit of a roll, but they might come unstuck at Pride Park. How good have Derby been at home, Darren?
Yeah, Derby have been very good at home. They've as we've been saying week after week, they've been playing well at home, but really without the ball. Derby's possession stats are around the kind of 36-37% mark. So we kind of like the other team to have the ball, even at home. So we're almost playing like the away side. And then the entire setup at Derby is to sort of try and hit on the counter. We've got some speedy players up front now. He has brought speed into the team. So yeah, the whole idea is to try and basically suck up pressure and then hit on the break. So yeah, so from the outside, yeah, they have won 9 games at home, or rather we have won 9 games at home, but some of the fans have been disgruntled because of the style of the football. So it's probably not going to be the prettiest game you're going to see.
Owen, is that going to suit Norwich for you to have the ball almost like the home side?
Yes, but then onto the other point of getting us on the counter, that's definitely something we're prone to. We saw it in the first couple of weeks, so that can definitely be where we're getting hurt.
Okay. Oliver, in terms of personnel, does he need to make any changes from that Watford starting 11?
I would not say so. I actually quite like the starting 11. I mean, maybe Sinach for a Forsen, but I think sticking to the same 11 will give us a good chance against Derby.
Okay. Jacob, would you make any changes?
Now to keep it the same. If the team performed so well against Watford, there's no doubt we can perform well against Derby, considering they've got a good home record and so do we. Maybe we can match it, maybe not. I guess we'll have to see.
Okay. Darren, they're going to come up against Zetterstrom, your brand new goalkeeper, who's only conceded 1, hasn't he, in the last since he's been in goal. Just tell us about the challenge in front of the Norwich Strike Force.
Yeah, okay. So we spent all summer chasing this guy, Zetterstrom, and it was on, it was off, it was on, it was off. We paid quite a lot of money for him, certainly by our standards. I think it was sort of 1.2, 1.5. It was one of those undisclosed figures. It was the most money we spent on a player. In fact, it's the most money we spent on a player for a couple of years now, because obviously we've been in administration. He looks like he's worth every penny. In fact, he looks like he put another 0 on his price tag at the weekend. He was basically holding Sheffield United out single-handedly. So yeah, he's tall. He's very tall. He's very good looking. A lot of female fans, a lot of man crushes on this guy. And so he seems to have it all. Some people have described him as a poor man's Czech because he wears the skull cap. But yeah, he looks the real deal as a keeper. His kicking's a bit awry. He can sometimes kick. He's not known for his footwork, but as a shot stopper, he looks pretty amazing.
Okay. All right, get some score predictions then, please. Darren, you're at home, so you can go first. Derby against Norwich. It's a classic football fixture, this, isn't it? Derby, Norwich.
Yeah, we don't really do well against Norwich, but by the same token, I don't want to. Do you know what? I'm going to go for a 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1.
All right, okay. Owen, you can take it for the Canaries.
Off of that win, I can't say anything but a win, so I'm going to go 2-0 Norwich.
Okay. All right. Cheers, fellas. Thank you very much, Darren, for joining us. I appreciate it. We'll catch you across the network. Thank you very much. And for you guys, it's Sacktober, as we mentioned, but I don't need to ask you whether your manager is under any kind of threat whatsoever. There is zero chance of us going into November with a different Norwich manager, unless a Premier League club comes calling. But even I think that's probably too early for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last up then, Owen, it is finding out all a little bit about you. Jacob and Ollie will just drop you out of the conversation just for a second, if that's okay. Owen, 60 seconds to find out more about your allegiance to Norwich. Are you ready?
I am.
Go ahead. Tell us, what was your first game? How old were you? Who was the opponents?
I think it was at home to United. I can't remember what year it was, but my dad took me when I was maybe 4 or 5, and I was just being a little shit, chanting for United in the home end, and he hated every second of it.
Okay. Who made you become a Norwich fan?
Houlihan, it has to be Magic.
Okay. Favourite manager and player growing up?
Farker, and then probably Buendia nowadays.
Okay. What's your match day routine? Where do you sit? Where do you go?
Lower Barclay, nice, right in the middle. Spoons, Riverside, nice.
Fair enough. Favourite away day?
Not done one still. It's on the cards. This
Right,
season it is happening.
Let's stop after you. If Norwich didn't exist, who would you support?
Probably local, go Galston.
Oh, fair dues. And finally, what's the best Norwich game you've ever been to that will stick in your mind for a long, long time?
Probably I think it was 6-2 at home in the cup to Bournemouth a couple of years back.
Okay, all right. Not an Ipswich win then.
No.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Thank you very much, Ollie. We appreciate you. Owen, for doing that for us. And we'll do Oliver next week, and then Jacob, it'll be your turn in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you very much for joining us. And if you haven't yet done so, please subscribe to the channel. You can download this on Spotify or whatever you listen to your podcasts on. We'll catch you guys the other side of the Derby result. Thank you very much for joining us.